Okay, it's a good evening. Friday, around this time, I mean 5 p.m. Norman to Mihimbise, we bring you high-end, for lack of another word, guests to face the nation in our talk show, Face the Nation, every Friday, 5 p.m. on our all social media handles. That's the Facebook page, The Alternative Uganda, Digital TV, also on Facebook page, and YouTube, The Alternative Uganda. Gladly today, we have, I don't want to use the legal language of A1 Yvonne Mpambara, but of course, that is her. And apparently, she's one of the those, I want to say many, if I should say, ladies that have picked forms from Electoral Commission expressing interest for presidency, by the way. Council, let me address you as Council. Yeah. Council Mpambara, say hello to our viewers.
Hello, dear Ugandans. I hope everyone is well. My name is Yvonne Mpambara. I'm an aspiring presidential candidate for the forthcoming Ugandan general elections 2026. I am a social justice lawyer. Majority of you have been seeing me. You know that we've been working together in communities, being a champion for youth and women's rights, but also their well-being. So I'm a citizen of this country. I am a daughter of the land. I am a future mother of this soil. I'm generally a Ugandan, and I'm happy to be here.
Okay, we have heard from her. Of course, being a very brief show, or rather an interview, I want to ask you, what, first of all, inspires you to contest for president in the forthcoming elections?
What inspires me is one of the first things I actually realized is the need for the survival of our generations. And I think this is actually one of the first times I've mentioned it. We feel that politics has become largely regurgitated. It has become recycled, and politics these days is the same regurgitated thing in just new clothes. You keep seeing different people coming in different shells, but it's the same kind of politics. And we feel that majority of our voices are not represented, especially at the biggest.
When you say ours, what do you mean? You, who, and who?
Us, the young people and women. Oh, definitely. That's the voice I'm representing, in case I didn't make it clear.
Okay.
Right? Us young people, and especially women feel we are not well represented at the top seat. So it means majority of our voices are not well carried to the biggest seat in the office. But also the fact that for all these years, you won't believe that for the first time in Uganda's history, the first woman president representative to sit at an election was in 2006.
Yeah,
and yet every single year, Uganda boasts of gender equality. But at its toppest level, we can't see it. How many women run for presidential elections every year?
We reach there, Councillor Yvonne. But of course, you mentioned in your own words, recycled.
Recycled.
What do you mean when you say politics is recycled?
Politics has become the same thing. The same political parties running, the same ruling party. We are all seeing the same regurgitated politics. And we feel that in terms of our needs as people being represented, we are not seeing the representation because we have recurring issues.
Is that an honest observation?
Yes, it is. We are the living experience of what it is.
I want to apply precedents because you're a lawyer, so I'll take you, of course, take you on as a lawyer. I want to use the present and current precedents. You have a prime minister who is a lady. You have, because I want to mention specific ministries that are very key in governance. You have the Minister of Health, a lady. You have a Minister of Education, a lady. You have a Speaker of Parliament, a lady. You have a Vice President. What else do you look for?
Are they the president?
Just one position.
Exactly. And you've been complaining in Uganda about centralized power. Why do you think you're complaining about centralized power? Where is it centralized?
Do you blame it to one?
In the president. So if you have, I keep telling people that if the head of the body turns everything else on the body, then doesn't it lead everything else? So how do you expect these few women you have? They are not the main head. They don't make the actual decisions, by the way. It's a lie. We know that the actual decision maker is a top guy.
But you're a lawyer, you know how our country runs. That you know you have independent organs. You have the parliament.
Are they independent? That's very debatable.
Okay,
because we are talking about the same man who are saying power is centralized into one person. So how do you talk about the independence of other organs yet you know it's centralized?
Isn't that a vote of no confidence to your fellow ladies who are in offices to mention like the vice president, because
We have mentioned it several times.
Literally, it is to say like they are non-performers.
They are non-performers simply because their top boss is making them fail to perform.
In your camera alone.
They're non-performers. We know that.
What
We've
do you mean they're
complained about it for a long
non-performers?
time. We've complained about the speaker failing to do her job. We've complained about the prime minister failing to do her job because already the head of the fish is already rotten.
How different would you want them to perform their job?
Put a female president, then we'll show you how different it should be done. Because we keep telling you, change your leadership. The first person you should change in this country is not the prime minister or the speaker. It is the president.
Aren't you happy with the performance of the prime minister, moving here and about, mobilizing and organizing?
Mobilizing and organizing for what?
The populace.
To do what?
PDM.
PDM?
Yeah, you've seen
Do you want
her.
us to go to PDM?
No, I mean,
is that a conversation you want to begin?
You have seen her mobilize and organize people. You have seen the Speaker of Parliament saying, I'm passing these laws, A, B, and Z. They are there to serve, of course, Ugandans. So to some people, they would think like, no, I think Yvonne isn't simply appreciative of what even other women have done so far.
We are not appreciative of the women in governance and what they've done because the results are barely there. We've complained for a long time that they are not independent in what they're doing. They're not actual decision makers. They are waiting for the top guy to give them the permission to do certain things. The other day I was complaining actually on my ex and I said, why does a speaker sound like a speaking organ for the president? Have you ever had any of her parliamentary sessions? She simply defends NRM. Is that the reason why she's a speaker? To defend Museveni?
I'm not certain. Perhaps she would maybe get time and answer that, such concerns.
So this is why we are telling you they're not independent. They're not operating independently. They're not listening to the people. Her role is to chair a parliament. Show us that you are working for parliament, that this is what is coming out of parliament. We are making independent decisions. We are making independent policies. But when you become a mouthpiece for the executive, then you've lost your independence. You're no longer independent. The same as the judiciary.
How independent would you be in the event that you're president?
All these institutions would have to become independent because one, we're going to decentralize that power. It's no longer me holding that one voice, that every decision has to be made by me. For Museveni to wake up and send a letter to Ham Chigundu, telling him that, okay, I'm giving you rights to build over a area in Kampala. That shows you its power is centralized.
Maybe perhaps the would-be operational powers are not doing.
No, if you are a good leader, then all these systems should be working. What is the role of KCCA and NEMA? If you have to write a letter from the president to be the one to authorize an individual to do the role of KCCA.
Councillor Yvonne, let's dive deeper into your interest for presidency. First of all, I want to give you some precedents. One of the precedents is by Honorable Mama Miria Karure Obote, back in the day. Honorable Betty Kamya, Maureen Chalia, Nancy Kadembe. For lack of another word, it was a disaster in performance. How different are you that you are not learning from history? That your colleagues, it was a disaster. How different is your message to ladies that they will entrust you, not just with the vote, but with the presidency?
So what I'm going to begin by talking about the biases that people have towards women running, right? Because they also contribute. They contribute largely to why the performance is low in terms of the voter turnout, in terms of the amount of votes they're getting. We have so many biases in this country, and they're not just in this country, they are all over. When you see a woman running, what's the first thing that runs through your head? That one can't be president because she's either emotional, or men are going to come and confuse her, or those are the biases of people.
You have proven, I think you have proven that, not you, of course, in particular, but we have had female presidents elsewhere. In fact, some people were mentioning Margaret Thatcher as a warmonger. People have mentioned Hillary Clinton as a warmonger. Won't even this Yvonne become another warmonger in Africa?
Maybe put me there and find out. But
how many ways you like it?
No, but the thing is, you can't compare 3% to 97%. 97% of leaders in this world are men. So you picking a small 3% and saying, "Go, they are warmongers." The men are what? The men leaders are what? Are they not warmongers also? So characteristics of one or two women don't define the rest of us women. We all have different characteristics as leaders. The same way different presidents have a different way they lead.
How different is your message from the rest of
So
the
as we come from a point of, we are going to be people-centered. Our work is people-centered. We're going to be accountable. We're going to be transparent. But also we are bringing alternative leadership for this country because we are showing them, listen, the way you're doing things is not working. What can we do that works for us young people? Because me, like I told you, as we are looking at survival now, that in terms of what the older generations have done, we don't see survival for ourselves. We don't survival for youth. We don't see survival for women, right, in this country. And if I start mentioning the problems, I know we are going to reach in this conversation, you're going to know the reasons why we are now going to start fighting for our survival. We are now going to also take power. We assume it's our right
We
to enter
meaning
governance,
the ladies,
as
or we
women
the
and
young
as
people?
young people.
Are you honest when you talk about the young people's desertion, where you have youth MPs, you have here youth councillors, you have national...
Again, it goes back to meaningful participation. Because if you're not the decision maker, you're not actually making any meaningful participation in governance. So you may have the structures there, but they're not working. So that's what we are telling you. These structures you have, much as they are good on paper, they are not sustainable and they're not working for us. So how do we give you alternative leadership that does something else? Leadership that is accountable. There are leaders who go on social media and they will tell you, but if I torture you, what will you do? Is that leadership that you want?
But you have numbers. Which numbers you haven't even taken advantage of as young people, if I should mention?
What numbers are those?
I mean, like our population. You know that Uganda is one of the youngest countries. So why not rather, first of all, convince and or organize young people towards a specific injustice before you consider climbing the ladder to the presidents?
So that is where we've been. We've been working with these communities all our lives. Yes. We've made impacts in health, we've made impacts in governance, we've made impacts in education. This is what we've been doing. We've been carrying ourselves with community this entire time. So that's why we're coming out telling people, listen, your politics and your governance can no longer be about you just choosing someone who has so much money, a military man, or you choosing someone who's a popular, influential person because you feel you know them, because you're a famous musician. You need to pick leadership that comes from your own people. These people who have worked with you, in communities, building with you. So why don't you pick those ones? Why are you still going for Museveni who don't even know your name? But you know Yvonne, she has been working with you in community. She has been working with you.
The same way they are supporting a musician whom some people out there think you are anti-noob. Have you heard that?
Majority know that I'm not anti-noob because I've been part of that structure for a long time. But also that's not the issue. Our issue is now we are telling them there are certain things that now your politics just seems the same. And we need to alternate it. We need to make it different. For this Uganda to actually boast of a future, we need to make it different. You cannot regurgitate the same politics over and over. You bring new people in different clothes, but you tell us our politics is going to change. Yet you're all doing the same thing, following the same structures, rebranding yourselves into something new, but doing the same old thing. So we're telling them your politics has become very old. It is not new for us anymore, and we are tired of it. We are frustrated. So it's either we lay it aside and bring out a whole new alternative of leadership that is people-centered, that has come from the actual communities themselves, or we continue with the same gimmicks that we complain about every day.
You mentioned bias. How are you addressing the bias question?
Bias in terms of what?
You said people are biased.
As a woman? As a woman?
Towards...
So it's about breaking barriers, honestly. Reasons why I was actually very glad when they said there are majority of women that are picking forms to show that they are willing to run for president.
Do you consider them as serious?
Majority are serious.
I like the highlight of majority. So
majority are serious.
Deep, you know that there are some that aren't serious.
Well, that is for the Electoral Commission to tell you in a few days.
You mentioned that our politics has been like it's recycled. Some people are also looking at the presidency as being vulgarized, that it's not taken as serious. That's why you would see every people say every Tom, Dick, and Harry picking forms to show interest. What is your comment? Are you among the unserious or people consider you serious?
There are two angles to look at that, and I feel to start with, it's a very good thing for such a process to become open like that. I think for majority of us, it was so strange. You'd sit there and you say, what is happening in the Electoral Commission when they are picking forms? Yeah. You know? But to see a common person saying, you know what, I have enough courage to go and sit at the Electoral Commission, I see what the papers are that they are giving out, what they are talking about. It shows that there's a certain way democracy is opening up, right?
The same democracy you want to fight?
I mean, I'm just saying, it shows a way. You've just started it now. Has it been the same case even before?
No, of course not.
Before, we didn't even know what they were doing in the Electoral Commission. I'll be honest with you. To majority of young people, they didn't know what these processes looked like. So for that process to suddenly start opening up and show, you know what? Even an average Ugandan is able to pick forms. We didn't know that before. We thought you have to go with money, you pick forms, you what? majority of people have never interfaced with some of these people, so they're wondering, what exactly does that structure look like? That's the first thing. I feel it's opening up to, listen, we are no longer hoarding what maybe democracy looks like. Come and see what you're also capable of doing. It opens it up to that. Secondly, we've largely always complained about inclusion. And this is why I keep saying there are issues with how Ugandans are seeing the picture of what's happening. We keep saying that inclusion should be diverse enough to cover every single citizen in this country. So why is it that you complain when you see a man in gumboots coming to pick nomination forms? What's the issue?
See, Yvonne, in your heart of hearts,
What's the issue?
in your heart of hearts, when you go back home, do you consider some of those people as serious? And in your view, do you think they even understand what presidency is all about? To be honest,
Give them an opportunity. The way someone dresses does not determine what kind of leader they'll make.
would you vote such a person?
I would if I listen to their ideas and they make sense.
Have you? I'm
I've
sure,
listened to some of them.
as one of the people that pick the nomination forms, I am sure, as the day follows night, that you must have watched their interviews. Were you convinced?
Some I'm convinced. Some I'm convinced
Some.
because also this is the issue, right? I keep telling Ugandans that you've had one image of what leadership is, and that's what you cling to. If you ask a Ugandan to describe for you what leadership is or what a leader looks like, they'll describe Museveni. Because to them, that's a mental picture they have. They have a picture of a military man, maybe some will throw in the heart, who is older a bit, because, I mean, age is wisdom, right? That is what they
Baganda would say this
conflate it with. Age is wisdom, a married man. It is a certain picture, right? When you try to divert them and tell them, listen, maybe half of the problems you have is because you have an image of what your leader should look like without necessarily dismantling that this could be where issues are coming from, right? Our issues are who? The leader of this country. We are saying we need to change governance. But at the same time, Ugandans are clinging onto it saying, but if you don't look like Museveni, where are you going? If you don't have enough money, as much money as Museveni, where are you going? If you're not a military man, where are you going? Will majority of us ever lead?
You mentioned money. How are you dealing with the political beggars out there as you look for their signatures?
Oh my goodness. Uganda, I don't know who is going to liberate us from the greed of what capitalism is doing. I don't know if this is a precedent that these leaders have set. It's very disastrous that people don't even want to sign forms because they're going to ask you for 50,000.
Per signature?
Yeah, per signature. Then you ask them, how will I get all that money if I'm going to give each one of you 50,000 to actually sign for me?
The same question I ask you, so how do you intend to lead the country if you don't want to give in?
So that's the thing. If we build systems that work, you wouldn't be having issues like that. But we've monetized politics so much that even the average person, the minute they see you and they see you're running for president, they assume you have so much money. Reason why it's what your leader has done. He walks around with sacks of money, giving out. I don't have taxpayers' money to throw around like that, and neither will I do it in future.
How do you intend to address such a problem in the event that every person, every signatory asks money from you?
So if we build proper systems, where people are not desperate.
I mean, now, as an aspirant, how do you intend to address the problem of people who are asking you money for their signatures?
So right
now, are you going to bribe them so that you can get their signatures, or you will let go and say, to hell with your signatures, I'm going back to the chambers?
No. So right now, we are largely working with community people. So the people that are helping us collect signatures are people they know. So that was our strategy. We got coordinators that are centered in the communities. So much as they ask you for money, they also know you're their person. They'll be like, usually these other ones come and give us money, but you go and come money, so I'll sign for you. And then so it's because now we come from community ourselves, so we know community people themselves. So we are going through those coordinators to help us because we knew if we don't do that, it's impossible for us to collect those signatures.
Okay.
It's a heavily monetized process.
Our viewers, we are with Yvonne Mpambara. I want to say, I have heard, and I don't want you also to just stamp yourself, but at least maybe we take it as a compliment that you are articulate. But then, people say there is a problem. History has proven us right, that there is the first time a lawyer attempted to be president, Godfrey Rukongwa Binaisa didn't even finish a year. Another attempt was by the land former Chief Justice Benedicto Chiwanuka. He didn't make it. have you learned from their history that lawyers, you guys, this country doesn't need you as president?
Is this based off the profession?
No. I mean, I don't know. Like, when you look at a military person like Amin, took 9 years in power. The current military person with that military background, Museveni, 40 years. If we are not lucky enough, I mean, as a country, he could add his 5, unless otherwise. So, how different is this lawyer we have here from the other 2 lawyers?
I feel Ugandans are at a breaking point where they've had enough of the military politics. So one, it's us taking advantage of the fact that Ugandans are frustrated. They are genuinely frustrated, and they demand that change actually happens. So if you have the voices of the people, that is the first step you're going to take forward. The rest are going to follow, by the way. So we have the voices of the people who are saying, you know what, enough is enough. We've seen what this politics is, the politics of military men, of men in hats, of their sons taking over. We've seen that politics. But now how do we step in for ourselves and show, listen, we are tired of what you're doing. And as a people, we're coming with a voice forward and telling you, we're moving forward as a country. So they're no longer waiting for permission, unfortunately.
But do you think people are tired?
They are fed up.
Sure.
They are fed up. If you work with communities, you'd know that.
What happens to the ballot boxes if indeed they are tired?
You want us to go there?
No, because you will be there. Because you will be there. So, you see, in 2011, I contested. You see, this is how voters can confuse you. By the time you check in the ballot, you're like, you guys, what happened? Do these votes evaporate? So, because if you mention that people are tired, it is just a few months from now. Do you think that is what you represent? Like, indeed, people are tired, and therefore they will vote your message?
Definitely. We are not going to look at the incurrences of voter rigging, because we know that's a big challenge in this country. Elections are...
And you're taking the bull by its horn. How prepared are you to deal with the rigging?
Well, I keep telling people that one of the issues we're going to have to start pressing forward is political pressure, political-centered pressure. The movements of people that are rising up now are telling you, even beyond the ballot, we are willing to create enough pressure to show you that what you're doing is not right and that we are willing to move forward as a people. So I keep telling people, even when they rig these elections, this is not the end of us opening this space up for new leadership. It's the beginning for Ugandans. It's a beginning for Ugandans showing you, enough is enough, you've rigged enough, we are tired. Now we are rising up. This agitation hasn't just started, by the way.
Are you planning a countrywide demonstrations?
If it gets to that, we are no longer afraid as people. We're not afraid of it.
Rather threatening the old man with the hat.
If he feels threatened, that sounds like a him problem.
It
did sound like a threat. That wasn't a threat, but he knows that people are agitated.
We are with Council Yvonne Mpambara. Given the means that we have for this interview, of course, you will forgive us for, for some reason, just having some bit of a hint. But of course, some other time, perhaps we would have had for a lengthy discussion. If I may ask, not generally speaking, but specifically speaking, what would you do with your first 100 days in the event that you are president of this country?
One, like I always say, I'll cut parliament and the cabinet.
Wait a second.
Reduce the size.
Wait a second. You are telling the public that as soon as you become president, you are going to become a dictator by cutting parliament. Because
that's not dictatorship.
It's a procedure for which...
That's not... Oh, you want from the main... I put a policy in place to cut parliament.
You want to sit in either Nakasero or in Teba and say, guys, it's a presidential decree. I now need 50 MBs.
Maybe Uganda needs some decrees. No, I'm joking. No. So, I didn't know you went to the whole process, right?
Precisely.
So precisely, it's for us to put in place...
as number one.
Cutting parliament and cabinet, right? Of course, we put the frameworks in there in place.
Sure.
We say that, you know what? This is what it's going to be moving forward. That's the number of parliamentarians in the seat are 50, cabinet strictly 20. Because we have very inflated administrations. And the costs are also going higher. We're complaining about a national debt we fail to fill. It's like a sinking hole. It's like we're feeding a black hole. Right? So we have to prioritize now other things beside these large, what is their role and what are they doing? So I feel like for me to actually be able to take control of this country, the first thing I need to do is cut those wasteful, bloatful administrative costs of government. which is the large.
Is that our number one problem as a country?
I feel it's our number one problem. And it will be my first 100 days of what I'm going to do. That is one of the first things I'm going to do.
You are a student of law, and there under is, of course, governance. One would mention that democracy, for some reason, is representation. As many
50
as
can
can.
represent.
As many as we can.
50 parliamentarians can represent. 20 cabinet ministers can represent you. We will make that work because we're going to put institutions
So in 90
in place
days,
that work.
in your first 3 months, you
So our first is to put policies that actually cut parliament and cabinet.
Using that
Secondly,
very big parliament.
we're going to lose majority of it. We're going to reduce it, unfortunately. I know majority of you are going to save jobs and go and look for jobs somewhere else. Right? Because taxpayers can't keep paying your exorbitant lifestyles.
We are having another Margaret Thatcher.
You need one. Uganda probably needs one because this is too much. This is too much. Secondly, the second thing I'm going to do is amend the constitution to reinstall the age and term limits. It was very unfair to Ugandans that they amended the constitution to remove those, and Ugandans were betrayed. So I feel in the first 100 days, that's one of the other things I'm going to do.
Restore age and term limits.
And term limits. But also it's for us to put now a presidential transition law into place that when it's your time to go, please don't start torturing Ugandans. Saying that I'm going to stay for life. We're going to also put a law in place for these people to safely and easily transition and leave the country.
What's your
to
plan
be led
for
by
the
other
corrupt?
people. What's that?
Your plan for the corrupt?
My plan one, they have to declare all their assets, return them back to the hands of the people, whatever they've stolen us to return. But two, we are definitely going to put very stringent mechanisms in place. You have to pay for what you've done to Ugandans, honestly. This thing where you put your families in governance, you put your relatives, you put your friends. So when it's time to hold them accountable, you actually can't do it. And they're the ones stealing from the country, draining it dry. This is what is happening, the patronage of politics. It's what is happening. So if you continue also putting bad systems in place, how do you hold these people accountable? If you're my family, how do I hold you accountable for stealing billions of taxpayers' money? So it also begins with the systems you're putting in place, right?
Okay. Yeah, proceed.
So we're going to put very heavy mechanisms in place, but we're also going to put very strong whistleblower policies so that people can easily also report whoever is, all the way from the local district levels. We need to be able to make sure that people are comfortable enough reporting people that are corrupt. Because there's so much money being stolen even at the smallest parish levels. Because corruption has trickled all the way from the big head of the fish down to the little last tail of that fish that people usually throw away, they don't want to eat. But it has trickled up to down there. So we have to make sure that there are very strong mechanisms in place in terms of people can report, but also the consequences of you stealing from the public are very heavy, that no one wants to go through it, that no one wants to face the law.
Okay. We are with Yvonne Mpambara. Gladly she picked her forms to express her interest. And some scholars are like, no. Picking forms, it's one thing. Returning them, it's another. Of course, campaigning through the entire campaign period is another thing. And also winning is another thing. But of course, we give time. If I may ask, do you believe in political parties? Without explaining.
Loaded question. Without explaining. Yeah. As of this year.
You have begun to explain.
Because also I can't just throw you an answer there without being the diplomacy of a president. You want to say that a presidential material has failed? No. So let us go through the diplomacy of presidential answers.
Okay.
So I largely believe in multi-party politics, right? Because it represents the diversity, the different voices of opinions, the accountability. People are able to hold government accountable through different political platforms. Pluralism is a reason why we're able to have unshallow, much wider democracies, right? And the fact that we don't have that kind of democracy, the fact that we don't have that kind of stringent monopoly in politics, right? So I feel the role they're meant to play is that. But unfortunately, the trend of Uganda's politics with political parties has slowly lost it. And we have to be honest. We have to be honest. It's the same regurgitated politics. There's nothing that differentiates NRM from the rest. I don't think it's there.
I wanted that after you had answered, because now, by and large, you believe in multi-party dispensation. And we put a full stop to that. Yvonne Mpambara believes in multi-party politics.
I do.
And then, subsection B.
Was I cheating exams?
Section B asks you, why didn't you choose one of the political parties to front you as a presidential candidate?
It is what I was actually already answering. We don't want to regurgitate what these systems have been doing, because they are doing the exact same thing Ugandans keep complaining
All
about.
the political parties that we have.
You want me to point out some, but I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
So our worry is we are regurgitating the same type of politics, the same politics of greed. Because if you're hearing that political parties are receiving 7.5 billion, you ask them, where is your voice for people-centered politics, for leadership that is people-centered? If you're eating their money, you're willing to grab 7.5 billion of taxpayers' money to go and rallies and shout, and do you see that level of greed? I feel it's very greedy of political parties to allow that money. Secondly, there's so much politics of patronage. There's no merit-based systems. We are struggling, but also majority of political parties now are just struggling for survival. There's nothing about them that is now national reform-centered. It's mostly, how do we survive into the next election? If you ask majority of them what they've been doing in this period, you can't trace it. You can't trace the work.
Do you want to mention to your viewers that you have no trust in any of the existing political parties as of now?
As of now, the reason I ran for independent is because I didn't have trust in the political party system at all.
I almost wanted to ask you, as like back in the day of Section 1, here Section A, Section B, Section C. Of course, now Section C. How strong is Yvonne? First of all, young. Second of all, a lady. Third of all, not a veteran politician, definitely. Fourth of all, not financially strong, unless otherwise, maybe we may not know. That
I've told you.
This person does not have a structure behind her back. How will you manage the campaigns in this country single-handedly without a political party backup in terms of a party structure?
We have structures.
Who?
Ask the people who are coming to you. Ask the community. This is what I keep telling you.
So this is a community-based
that our voices
candidate.
are coming from the community. So majority of the work we are bringing forward is movements and movements of communities that are endorsing. So that's why I keep telling you, even with the coordinators we have already in the system working, it's because we know that people on ground, we know that people in the different spheres, we know that people in the different sectors, we have been working with communities. We've been organizing with them. We've been pushing together to find solutions. So we are not working alone. That's why I failed to say I. Have you heard me saying I the entire time I've been here?
With your structure, but not political.
It is we. Ask the people we are seeing a full structure.
Okay.
We're coming to you because even communities are strong. It's why I tell people, because I come from a civil society background, don't assume I don't have leadership capabilities. We've been leading with these people from the beginning. We've been sitting with these communities. We've been finding solutions. We've been organizing together. These are very strong movements of people. Leadership does not only come from the men I'm telling you about.
You also have bias against men.
I definitely do. Uganda is ready for a female president. It's ready for a female president. So in terms of what you're asking, how strong are we? The people's voice is strong.
Don't you think also that the reason for which people haven't trusted women, it's because of the ill performance of those in power? And therefore, they think like it's going to be more of the same.
Why would you think it's more of the same if you never put a female, if you never put a woman as president? Has she ever turned this country and showed you that she's unleading it? Because even the men who are in place, what are they doing? The ones who are under Museveni. Okay. Is their leadership any different?
Viewers, that's Yvonne for you. But also, now if I may ask you, money and politics are inseparable. How do you intend to deal with the monetization of politics?
We have to make sure that whatever monetization is in politics is people-centered. Systems have to work for people. Every single system has to work for people. We have to decentralize power to the people. All the way up to down to the lowest level of organizing in Uganda. We have to decentralize power. So largely reasons why monetization of politics becomes an issue is because money is going into the hands of a few select people. 1-2% of this country, which is unfair. Because you're hoarding resources to yourselves. The rest are not getting what they're supposed to get, right? So we have to make sure that, one, largely we have to find a way to dismantle politics being that largely monetized, but also make sure that the bits that are monetized are serving the ordinary citizen of this country. If not, we're going to continue to fail. We'll not sustain this level of politics. We will fail as a country.
Viewers, we are with Yvonne Mpambara. And okay, she does not just say, but she is young, representing young people, if I may mention. Maybe if you could share with us an insight of the foreign policy, for instance. We have Uganda, of course, now, even if we began with a smaller block of East African community, what's your plan? Because I watched one of your, one of the aspirants, and I will mention, that's Munyagwa. He said, I swear today, tomorrow Uganda is out of East African community, because Kenya TZ, they are literally becoming, suckers. They are draining us. What's your plan?
So our plan is not to pull out. These structures are supposed to work, but they're supposed to work with unity and solidarity.
Are you convinced with how East African community is working?
There's a lot to be done. There's a lot of work to be done, but there's also very many opportunities for us to solidify the bloc, right? I feel Uganda has to build an identity beyond just ourselves here. We have to build a regional identity that we are failing to actually properly instill. So Uganda largely exports security. I think you know that.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. Uganda largely exports security and somehow fails to prioritize other sectors as well. If we could largely prioritize sector trade-related diplomacy, we also prioritize diaspora. We have a very, very, very vibrant diaspora, but we fail to take advantage of the opportunities that they offer in terms of investment, in terms of culture, in terms of pushing Ugandan identity across, both to the regional and to the global. So largely, majority of the time, Uganda becomes a responder or a reactor, what we call a reactor, to regional and global issues, but not necessarily an influencer. So the plan is for us to build a Uganda that is strong enough to influence. And how does it do that? Beyond security, what else are you exporting?
To the region and
to the region and to the wider bloc. You have to export beyond security. We have to become strong in trade. Our quality products that we are sending from here, we have to improve the quality of what we are sending. But also improve your relationships with these other leaders. If you're constantly also stealing minerals from Congo, how are you going to build a relationship with Congo?
By constructing a road.
By constructing a road. So you go and steal more.
There is a road. Anyway,
so you go and steal more.
Because we have this interesting presidential aspirant for now, and of course, as time goes by, she will qualify to become now presidential candidate. You mentioned, and when you mention a word, I highlight them as a disciplined listener myself, and also a consumer of knowledge. You mentioned about capitalism. What's your philosophy? Are you a conservative? Are you a center-right, a center-left? Oh, none of the above.
No, my work is largely people-centered again. I'll say that. I don't believe in hoarding of resources because at the end of it, we have to work for the people. We have to serve people. We can't only serve individual interests. I keep telling people that capitalism at its core is unsustainable. Again, it's like feeding a sinking or a black hole.
Isn't that a broad-day war against the powers that be, the global powers?
It is, definitely. It is. It is. We're not the only ones complaining.
I think they would be happy with your anti-capitalism.
Who is waiting for them to be happy? We're coming to overhaul the entire system.
Oh, no.
It's powerful, yes, but we are going to begin to break the barriers. The reasons why majority of our issues persist. The core reason, by the way, is because the capitalism that has been instilled in so many systems in different countries is why you have these problems. You have hoarders who are not willing to serve people because they're looking at individual interests. How much land can I amass? How much money can I put into my businesses? How much schools can I build so that I can continue to extort school fees out of parents? Do you see that level of greed? So the level of greed we have, and the issue why we continue to have issues like corruption, you have wasteful spending, it's because capitalism is a system that demands wasteful hoarding.
Okay. Now, you mentioned, literally this now, and these are your words, Yvonne. Capitalism, literally you are anti-capitalism. Literally.
Definitely.
If you want to promote socialism, for instance, and or communism, you cannot run away from the land question. In your presidents, how would you intend? Because I know, as day follows night, that one of the biggest problems this country faces
is
land question. Which land? Because the rich want to amass as much. And even who knows, you might find even this space's title belongs to some rich person somewhere. So how do you intend to deal with the land question?
Begin by demilitarizing, as per grabbing land. We have to first of all, demilitarize. Right? Because the military, from what I am seeing now, is grabbing land like a problem. Why? Why is now the land issue getting into military hands? Right? But also, we've reached a level where we need to recognize that there is land that belongs to the people. There are communities that have settled on lands for a very long time. The role is not for Balalo to wake up one day and say we are taking half of Acholi. Instill themselves and say it's our land now. You found people there.
People could have sold the same land to them.
You see, when you have the resources and power to overcome a certain person and you take advantage of it, it's not a fair deal. It's not a fair deal. It's why they tell you, you've reached a level where now you're stealing. It's not even about mortgaging it to you anymore. It's not about giving you the right to stay on it. You're reaching a level where you're also pushing the communities that have always been there out of it by stealing it. Because you have the power to do it.
In short, you want to become a female Mugabe with a land policy of now taking back people's land, even when
land
some of them might have bought it.
Land must belong to Ugandans. Land must belong to natives. If any other person wants land, there have to be systems in place in terms of return policies, in terms of lease policies, in terms of rent. Right?
Yeah.
We cannot have policies in Uganda where land is freely just sold to people that don't belong to it. You're going to have a crisis at the end of the day.
Willing buyer, willing seller.
No, it can't work like that. You have to put strong policies in place to protect your own
Even
people.
for the willing seller.
No.
Not sell the land.
Listen, if you need money, you're always going to be a willing seller.
It's like your government wants to bar a willing seller from selling to a willing buyer.
No, you have to protect your people. You have to protect your people from extortion, exploitation, because there will always be people with more money than you. And then you'll have now an issue where it's not even money anymore. They are grabbing. Because they'll know what power do you have now to remove these people off the land? You don't have that power anymore. So we have to learn also to protect our land. It's not for free giving for whoever feels like having it. They are natives you found here. They are Ugandans that belong to the land. So respect that first before you start doing anything else. If the relationship becomes coercive, it's where we have to step in and say, you know what? Now we need strong policies in place in terms of land ownership. If land belongs to a certain system of communities, like this issue we've been seeing with Balalo, first settle it. Settle the historical attributes of what that land is. Don't come and say we came here in 1945. We were many. You sold it to us. Now we are refusing to leave after the lease is done. Why are you refusing to leave? Where did you come from?
Okay.
There are also people who belong to that land. It's not your right to unsettle them and throw them somewhere else. Where are they going to go? They don't have the resources. You've already removed the resources from them. They don't have that power.
Okay. In our 5 also means to close. Employment question. In specifics, what would you do to deal with the unemployment in this country, which is, of course, beyond the ceiling?
I think in terms of employment, that is always one of the hardest questions to answer because we have very high unemployment rates. But I feel the one thing Uganda can take advantage of is creating demand that creates jobs rather than the reverse, right? I feel Uganda has so much potential in terms of agro-industrialization, modernizing agriculture. We have so much opportunity in terms of processing, exports. We have a large opportunity, but your leadership has not been able to steer you into the right direction to do it. We have so many sectors we can take advantage of right now. The informal sector is very, very tolerant and rich. It's very vibrant. The creative sector, see how many young people are in the creative sector coming up with music, art, fashion. These are things you can rebrand and create more jobs for young people because they're even more interested in majority of those sectors than the rest. So if we can stabilize them, streamline, regulate properly, and create very powerful laws and conducive environments for them to be able to meaningfully participate in these areas, there will be more potential for job creation. But largely, Uganda has to industrialize. We lost it some time back. I don't know what happened. We privatized majority of public assets that will be helping in terms of that. But we need to be able to move towards agro-processing. We need to build our identity in terms of creating demand.
What's your view about the federal system of governance in the event that you're president? Are you pro or against? Or both?
Definitely pro. Definitely pro. I think I was seeing someone explaining the other day what they feel the actual system of federalism is. And they were saying, but is an NRM doing the actual system of federalism? And we said, no, there's no purpose of decentralizing power without systems working independently. Exactly.
The money
power is centralized. The money belongs to a few people. The power, resources, opportunities, they're all in the hands of a few people. So there's no decentralized power there when systems also can't work independently. I was complaining when I entered and said, why would the president be sending a letter from his own stamp and signature saying, I am authorizing Ham Chigundu to go and build these trees and whatever, not over Nachivubo? Why would the president be the one sending that letter? What's the role of KCC as a structure?
He's a de facto leader of Kampala, of KCCA.
So that shows you how centralized power is, because where is your trust in systems that are meant to do this work? Is that a federal government?
Okay.
Your systems have to work independently. All the structures, from the top executive to the lowest parish level to the home, that structure has to work and show that it independently works. It holds you accountable. It has enough power to meaningfully govern without your interference all the time. Museveni can't send letters everywhere. He's about to send us letters on what to cook at home.
Sadly, we are about to close, but of course we cannot close without asking you this question. People have, okay, some, not all of them, people have mentioned that, and this is because you come from a civil society background, too much English, little work.
Why is there too much English you're hearing in this speech?
No, not you alone. I mean, people with the history of civil society. By the way, in the event that you didn't know, let me let you know that people also accuse you as being accomplices. The civil society organizations in this country. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And I know you know that people think that also civil society organizations have betrayed this country. So as long as you can do your concepts and the whites give you money, Museveni or any other dictatorship, in the event that she's there anyway, can stay forever. Yeah.
But if you accuse us of being accomplices, yet
with your very good concepts, but ask them to implement them.
I think several structures need so many reforms. You can't only pinpoint civil society. Almost so many things in this country are not running right. So why should the pin be stuck into civil society?
Because you're one of them.
I am one of them, but also we've also done a lot of...
I will ask you questions of the clergy when you are not. You belong to
makes
civil
sense,
society. Now,
sense.
defend your civil society and then you can live here.
No, unfortunately, due to the nature of leadership we have, a lot of things have gone wrong. And that's why I was saying you can't pinpoint now from everything that is written, you can't pinpoint that this is the only sector that should be running right. They are doing their best. We've done so much work, and even government can attest to it. Civil society has stepped in to play such a huge role in terms of service delivery. The other ones that are filling the gaps where government is falling short. It's civil society doing it. This mobilization we're doing with communities is coming from where? Civil society. We are mobilizing with these people. We are always at grassroots with them. When they are pregnant and they need healthcare, who is there to step in? When healthcare is failing, who is there to step in? We are using also that money, not just take advantage of Ugandans. We are using it to serve.
Yvonne, somewhere I read that one of the reasons for which some African citizens become lazy is also because of you.
Because of us, civil society?
Yeah. Do you know why? You will find some place that has no food. Instead of mobilizing people to ask the government to provide food, for instance, or rather hospitals, civil society would construct like a borehole to deal with the water problem. And therefore, people have changed their dependence on asking the government to give them service to now civil society. Civil society to Yambe, Banachewa. You have heard those words.
But if your government is failing, who is going to step in? So civil society also plays a role of holding government accountable. And I think that's why majority of them are now running into problems with the government, right? Because they've realized that there's a strong element of accountability from civil society that on a daily government doesn't want to deal with, because they know that they're also falling short. So again, like you're saying, the reason why people are turning to civil society is because it's all now doing the work.
Making them lazy.
That's not making you lazy. If I give you a service that you don't have, am I making you lazy?
I'm supposed to ask A to provide.
If A fails, then are you going to starve and die? Yet you have the option of civil society to do it for you. It's why we are stepping in and telling you, government, you're falling short. Let's do this with you. We are working with you. We are not trying to say we are completely separate from what you're doing. We are trying to work with you to provide, to bridge the gaps of why you're failing or falling short.
Viewers, it's Yvonne Mpambara. Finally, you have like 40 or so seconds. But of course, before you utilize your 40 seconds, with due honesty, I'm sure that there could be some relatively fairly done things by this regime. Out of 10, if you're given a script to mark the NRM performance, how many marks would you give them?
4.5.
Those are her words.
4.5
Final,
out of 10.
okay.
And that's very fair.
Your closing remarks to your likely voters.
Well, dear Ugandans, we need alternative leadership to what is happening in this country. We don't want next year to reach and we are complaining about the same problems because the same politicians have come in new clothes, brand new watches, and told us that things are going to be different. They are not going to be different unless we alternate leadership, unless we put people in leadership that we know are capable leaders, that are capable of carrying the mantle to change this country. I know we are frustrated, we've had enough, and it's time we stop asking for permission to cause the change we want to see. We have to be able to change what this country looks like for the future.
She's Yvonne Mpambara. We look forward to seeing her, first of all, return the forms. Second of all, being nominated, of course, as the presidential candidate. Third of all, campaigning and completing her campaigns. By the way, fourth of all, seeing her swearing as the Uganda's first ever duly elected female president. Catch you next Friday. No man to him is signs out. But of course, some other time we shall have her in a lengthy discussion. Be blessed.